Stephen,
Andrew.
fancy spending a quiet night inside number 9?
Absolutely.
Right, seance time this week. What are you laughing at?
You just seem to get a bit lost there for a second. What am I doing? Why am I here?
Why am I here? Yeah, script book delve into seance time.
End of series.
Yes. Now customary horror piece.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, and well, there's not a whole lot really that's different in this than
No, they're very much stuck to script.
Yeah.
Very few deviations. Just a couple of little tidbits.
I wonder whether we'll see kind of more of that as they get comfortable, because I imagine as they're writing the scripts, they know, okay, these are the parameters of possibility, that they'll kind of be thinking a lot more in terms of, okay, this is the process that's gone on in the past.
How it'll look.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah. Because this is, I mean, it's very descriptive, this one, of like, they know exactly how they want it to look a lot for the most part.
Yeah, even the International Parlour Day bit at the beginning is huge in terms of setting the scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having said that, gaslight, it's not gas, it's all electric in the end, isn't it? Which changes
it wouldn't
have
really worked as gas in terms of controlling from the other. It would have been a little bit more complex.
Yeah, and they seem to just sort of switch. Everything gets switched to electric lights. And there's just these little bits dotted through where it's supposed to be gas lights that change. And yeah, I don't know how you would go about just a little man running around the outside adjusting little gas knobs.
Yeah, maybe gas style lighting or gaslight style.
Style lighting.
Gas style. No, gaslight style. Gaslight style electric lights.
Gaslight style electric lights.
That's
I'm not sure whether you're being ridiculous here, or whether you're just trying to make me feel like I'm being ridiculous for thinking you're being ridiculous. I feel a bit gaslit, if I'm honest. God, that was stretch, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't have any notes for the first. Well, other than on the very first page where Terry asking to take Tina's coat moves a couple of lines.
Yeah, it's one of those annoying things where you're like, yeah, that's gone. There's something, and then it appears.
Yeah.
And to be honest, they just shifted it to a place where it made more sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Rather than like, she's straight in the door. Can I give you a glass of water? Can I get you a glass of water? Hold on. I'm still wearing my coat.
Calm down. What can I take that? I found something I enjoyed.
Oh yeah.
Something from a Reece Shearsmith script where he spelt childlike with a hyphen. I'm not letting this go. After I was subtly berated on Twitter by Reece Shearsmith for using the words childlike hyphenated. He just replied to me, just a little dig, childlike, 2 separate words. Yet here it is, black and white, written by him or Steve.
Didn't we have a conversation about it being a reference to Deadline?
Yeah, it may well be. I'm still not letting it go. I'm still taking it as my initial thing of why is my grammar being corrected here?
Especially corrected wrong.
Yeah, corrected wrong by someone who knows how to spell it right, because he's written it in a script.
Is that the bit with Madame Talbot's voice?
It is. And I didn't really think it was childlike either.
No, it was more kind of
old crone.
Yeah, exactly. Old woman.
So yeah, misused, correctly spelt.
Yeah.
Childlike.
Oh, I'm glad you found something in the script.
Yeah. I could do another 15 minutes on this if you like.
Yeah, I know.
Because the doll's face wasn't quite as much of a mess as they had led us to believe in the script.
Yeah, did it have a one eye missing?
I don't know if it did. It didn't seem that cracked up either. It wasn't all it was cracked up to be in the script.
Hadn't been able to find one in the...
Maybe. Yeah.
But no, it seems to just be quite like a little doll that is quite common rather than a horror film style doll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he picks up the teddy bear without any real reaction other than slight confusion on the first run through the thing with Tina there.
Mm.
And it comes back again later. And the directions say, so this is much later, the directions say that he shoots an annoyed look to the two-way mirror.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
No, I didn't notice anything.
It seemed like a more sort of...
This is weird.
Yeah, he seemed a little bit troubled with it rather than annoyed by it. He looked a bit thoughtful about it, as though this is weird.
There was no point at which it ends up there in the kind of in the actual process of the routine that they do, does it? So it's not like a reset. It's someone's that must go through your head of like someone's deliberately put it there because
this is twice now.
It doesn't end up there. Yeah, it's not like
who's putting
the tambourine
this here?
Needs putting back or whatever.
I very much enjoyed Steve turning up again.
Oh, it's a delight, isn't it?
It's just finding the fishing wire, pulling it off.
So
I like that his first reaction is to just dismantle things.
Yes.
What's this doing here? This probably shouldn't be attached here. There's a word taken out. I mean, well, I'm really stretching for things here.
I was going to say that.
They took out the word humbly. We ask you humbly to let yourselves be known to us. There's nothing humble about Terry.
No.
He doesn't want to ask anyone to do anything humbly. Although, having said that, a few pages later, he then actually adds a thank you into his Coke request.
Oh, did he?
He did. Maybe that's just Reese. Yeah, go on.
I don't think I'd quite noticed the theme of drinks as much like earlier on than I did this time.
Oh, really? Like the constant asking for water.
Like that first bit, like, would you care for a glass of water? Obviously, that's the line that's moved. But like, yeah, it's absolutely constant.
That is true.
And it's kind of that, I suppose, like the two sides of the drink and then the wetting yourself. Drink, wetting yourself.
He should have eased off on the Diet Coke.
Yeah, that was the thing. That was basically Chekhov's pee.
Chekhov's
wee.
Chekhov's piddle was the little puddle in the corner, I imagine.
But what about the Diet Coke that then kind of returned in his trousers?
I don't.
If you're going to show a Diet Coke at the beginning, it's got to turn up as wee at the end.
I don't feel like the natural process of consuming liquid and then urinating it can really be described as like a narrative device.
Well, I'll be honest. I found it was like a foreboding doom that I was like, where's that gone? Where's it gone?
Are we going to see that again?
That's going to come
we
back.
Are. It did come back.
Literally.
In its new form. Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Clive I'm just making up his Whittington story. There was no direction as to what he should be talking about.
Oh yeah, I know.
But
yeah.
he just made up a whole load of stuff. I assume sort of ad-libbed.
About the director being from a physical theatre background.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe there was something he's been holding on to for a little while there.
It's not the only thing he's holding on to.
So I don't remember if we spoke much about the switch of the little boy's spirit into the demon dwarf, and whether Terry pushed that because the little boy's spirit idea freaked him out a bit. And I also couldn't tell by the end the extent to which Terry knew about what eventually happened to the little boy or didn't know about what happened to him.
Because he seemed slightly surprised, didn't he?
He did, but almost in a bargaining way, though. Of I didn't know.
Yeah,
but maybe he did. Because I'd imagine that would probably feed its way back. That'd be quite big news.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be all over gossip columns and things, I would have thought. Actually, no. I'd say that would probably make headline news.
I think it would. The kid that, was part of this program, got humiliated, has killed himself.
Because actually, since this aired, it's become quite a big deal, the way that people who are on reality shows and things are actually treated afterwards. It hasn't
quite apt, actually, isn't it? Because there's obviously the stuff with like Love Island, wasn't there? And then Jeremy Kyle has been taken off air. Yeah,
and I think that's all since this aired, and
I think it is. Yeah,
those stories were huge news when they happened, and so for him to say he didn't know about it, and for seemingly the production staff to not really have been aware of it either. I don't know whether it's just something that in this fictional universe was handled differently.
So that's an interesting point, and it makes me wonder whether is this something that Steve and Reese are kind of were aware of as a thing in the industry, in that part of the industry that actually is a real problem, and no one's looking at it, and they're kind of bringing it to highlighting it in their own little way through this, and actually
very possibly,
that kind of isn't a coincidence that it's then reflected in reality kind of later on. But don't know. Good point, man.
Thanks, man. Like I say, I couldn't tell whether later on he was almost bargaining with Freaky Spirit, just denying. I don't know, nothing to do with me.
Because I'm still confused as to where the interaction between Clive what's Clive at the end? Like, is he?
Clive's like, I think Clive's sort of possessed, isn't he?
Has he been inhabited by the spirit of Little Boy?
Well, Little Boy,
and then Little Boy is there.
I don't know, because Little Boy is there. I don't know. It's all a bit sort of
Tom.
William.
Who's Tom?
I don't know, but he's definitely called William.
What's that reference to Tom?
They are talking about they're trying to work out what Clive's name was, weren't they?
Yeah, but then the bit when they all laughed at me, it was easy to jump in the river. What Mummy didn't see, it was cold in the water. Tom didn't like it.
Bear.
Oh, was that the bear?
I assume the bear. Yeah, I assume that was his bear's name.
Oh yeah, arm drops down and we see him holding the wet teddy.
Because that would actually possibly be one thing that ends up being that feels a little bit disorganized at the end is the extent, because there was kind of a feeling that Demon Dwarf and the name change and all that kind of stuff was kind of like there was something going on with him, and he was almost a plant.
Yeah.
And then he becomes inhabited by the spirit, but then the little boy is also there running around up to no good.
Yeah.
As well.
But it made me think: has he been possessed for a little bit longer than just after he's died? Because the whole thing of him being referred to as a dwarf, and then people thinking he is a dwarf, is like almost a reference to him having a childlike appearance with a hyphen.
Always hyphenate child.
In some way, you know, people having that sense of like he looks different to how he actually looks.
Yeah.
And whether they're seeing some kind of reflection of that spirit of little boy in Clive himself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's all a bit weird.
It is. It's almost like they probably haven't actually decided any of this stuff anyway.
Or we've just missed something.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I also noticed, you know, after the initial scare with, what's her name? Was it Gemma?
Yes.
And
The
she's
producer.
it's Tina. I'm thinking of Tina.
Okay, yeah.
And she's asking Terry for a autograph. Words are struggling. I'm struggling with words again. And then Terry says, "Of course, no problem. What's your name?" In the script, it says, "What's your name again?" And actually, the fact he drops the again, it's just, "What's your name?" It's like so dismissive of the fact that he's just, you know.
I guess the again is almost acknowledging that he's asked once already and feels a little bit bad about it, but no, he does not care.
What's your name? It's as if this is the first time he's met her. Like, what's your name? It's like,
who are you?
Oh, he's a horrible guy. Isn't he?
There was some post-production stuff that I think was added in to kind of push the supernatural bit a little bit earlier. Mm-hmm. They switched up the Where's Mummy?
They did.
Made that earlier, and it didn't seem quite so obvious that it was coming from Madame Talbot.
No.
If it felt like only he could hear it, rather than her specifically coming out with it.
Yeah.
Which I felt was like it was all more happening in his head, rather because I guess if she had said it, other people would have heard it. There would have been everyone on the set would have heard that happen. But where did that come from? She said that she just kind of zoned out and was saying stuff, but no one else.
Recipes.
Yeah, exactly. But no one else did, and I guess it kind of made more sense for it to be just something that he can hear going on as floating around in a room. And at that point, there's some screen interference in the gallery.
Mm.
So it's almost like this thing has started happening.
Yeah.
It's gone to another level of beyond scaredy cam. And little William's spirit is starting to get up to no good.
Mm.
But that wasn't, for some reason, that just wasn't in there.
As direction.
As direction. And it also, and I mean, they completely stripped out the jump scare at the end.
Yeah.
They didn't write the jump scare, which I thought was really interesting because that was like big scary moment.
Every time.
That was, there he is.
I'm always like, I'm going to turn this off before it.
I can't watch.
Yeah. No, that's true. And because that's the bit, because that's the really cool thing about that scene is Pete and his responses, his reactions to things. Like he's so chilled out and like, just what is this load of nonsense? Until that point, well, it's when the flame goes up, isn't it? And then he's like, whoa. And that's actually the same kind of time that the Mummy Where's Mummy kicks in. So there's probably that, I don't know, there's something in the air. And he starts reacting like genuinely
a little bit fearful.
At that point. Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Clive ends up being inhabited by William relied on Pete punching him out. Really? And then thinking he was dead. It's like waiting for an opportunity, waiting for a host. He'll do the dwarf.
Exactly. He's blue.
I also I hadn't clocked that when Clive's in the corner, he's not on the monitor. When it cuts back out, and you can see Terry in there.
Yeah,
you can't. I couldn't see Clive in the corner on the monitor, which is because that's when Terry's turning around and going, "Haha, very funny."
Right, so maybe
what's going on?
Is he standing over Clive? He is standing over him, isn't he? They find him standing over him. Yeah, so he has. Yeah. No, I was just thinking if he's seen, like you're saying, in his head, he's hearing the "Where's Mummy?" If he's seen Clive in his head on the monitor, and then he does move. So I don't know.
Freaky kid in the cot.
Freaky kid in the cot. Yeah.
Ooh. And then back comes Chekhov's coke.
There
Chekhov's
it is.
piddle.
All down his trousers. It's going to be bingo adverts for him. Well, it might even be prison. Who knows?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know where this thing goes, because what's your defence in that situation where you're stood over a body like that? I mean, I guess they know that he hasn't clubbed him because that's Pete's fault.
Yeah, they'll stitch Pete up for that. Yeah,
that's so harsh. Pete's only crime is having a mate who likes women to sit on a glass table. Oh, I'm punching a man until he dies.
I mean, he's got a good punch on him.
Yeah, killing a man with one punch is quite a skill.
Yeah,
is that a skill?
It's
a worry.
And it does happen, doesn't it? But I think normally it would be because they go back and like smash their head on something. I don't know if
I don't really know the physics of killing someone with one punch.
No,
one punch Pete. That's what they call him down in the end.
They do, yeah. That's what his mate, calls him when he's on the phone to Martin. It does seem like it's going to be some kind of like heist.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in the old woman's house. I'm going to steal all her things.
The gramophone. He's stealing gramophones to order.
And one cataract. Nice little Columbo reference.
Yes.
Christopher Columbo. We do know his first name.
Christopher Columbo. What episode was that from?
I can't remember.
Christopher Columbo. Discovered America.
Yeah, he did. Sold a load of crimes. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't have a... There was the other... I don't think I'd quite... just before that Columbo reference, when Terry's watching... He's watching the footage, isn't he? Playing back the punch. Mm-hmm. And he says, "Fucking shame, it's really funny."
Yeah.
Like, I'd missed that until I was following it in the script. I was like, that is...
You horrible man.
Like outrageous. Like, absolutely outrageous.
It's a shame we can't use the footage of a man being punched to death.
With one... Yeah.
He is the worst, isn't he?
He's the worst. He's totally the worst. Yeah, so either bingo adverts or prison for old Terry, hopefully. We'll see.
Hopefully. Are you happy with either?
Well, I mean, old Les Dennis has got the bingo adverts anyway, so...
What would he go to jail for?
Probably nothing.
Just go to jail.
Just go.
He'd just go to jail.
On that part of the board.
Life is just a giant game of Monopoly.
I don't know. It feels like maybe more like corporate manslaughter type stuff, isn't it? And
what, enabling
negligence.
enabling an environment where that happens?
Yeah, I don't know. Which is probably not an individual responsibility. It's a
Production company.
Fining the production company, yeah.
I don't really know the ins and outs of people getting punched to death on
absolutely no
a
idea.
production set.
I've never been involved.
If you know what happens if someone gets punched to death on a production set, please let us know by emailing a quietnightinsideno9@gmail.com or on Twitter.
Via Twitter. At AQNIN9. Yeah, that'd be really helpful if you could let us know.
It sounds like something's happened that we're worried.
It does. Yeah. With nothing going on.
Promise.
Cool. So,
genuinely, no one has been punched to death during the making of this podcast.
No. Next week we'll start Series 3. The final series in the script book.
We still haven't heard anything about a start date for season 7.
No, 6.
6, sorry.
6.
6. Who knows anymore? Well, we definitely haven't heard anything about season 7. So.
No, it's 6.
I mean, I'm not wrong.
I'm really confused because this is technically when I've been uploading the podcast, this is series 6 of our podcast. And that is confusing me. And that's something that I'm like, that's really annoying because
there's now going to be a season.
What now happens?
Can you do some renaming?
I think I'll have to.
This is essentially bonus content, if you can call it that.
So how would you describe it? Like, not a number.
1 point. Oh, well, this is 2.6.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Maybe.
Or 2E. A, B.
2E. Yeah, that could work.
Is actually the 6th.
Yeah, 2F,
yeah. Right.
Great.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll see you again next week for Devil and Christmas.
What? Yeah. We'll see if your theory is borne out about scripts getting closer and closer to what actually ends up on.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Yeah. I think when we get to Diddle Diddle Dumpling, we will realise that is not the case.
Have you read ahead?
No, I just read the preface or prologue or whatever it's called for season 3.
Oh, and it says loads went out the window.
Yeah, it's a completely different end.
Oh, that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, little teaser there.
Oh, keep listening.
All right. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.